Dragon Age Veilguard reviews are out. Let's talk about it because it's a mixed bag of bollocks. It really is. You're either so negative about it that your review comes across as you are personally offended by the company, or it's so positive that it sounds like you've been bought by the company. And it's all revolving around the review codes, essentially. And the ones that are being negative are saying, no, it's not. Don't care about review code. They're talking shit. They absolutely care about the review code because creators have an ego the size of the planet. If they don't get freebies, they get offended, and it shows in their reviews. You've seen it yourselves, and a lot of you like that aspect because, it's entertaining. But yeah, a lot of them are saying, oh, I don't care about review codes. And then they're like, oh, but let me just mention it 400 times in my video that I don't care. I don't care. Now, I don't get paid for YouTube. I'm not big enough to get sponsors or freebies or anything like that. So I'll be playing this the same as you on the 1st. So when I show you footage and stuff like that, you can double check it yourself because you've seen it. In fact, you've probably already seen it by the time I put it up. So basically, my opinion doesn't match yours at that point. Like and subscribe for more, by the way. Or they are so positive in their review that it sounds fake. It sounds unbelievably bought, scripted, and paid for. And it's like, oh, there's no middle ground, right? Now, I'm speaking very generally here. Some people did give a little bit more of a fair one, but like I say, without the review code, it's mostly negative because from the creator side of things, because, they didn't get it. So they're hurt. They're personally hurt. Personally, I don't give a shit about things like that. I like the game because I like what I've seen in the trailers. I've liked what I've seen from both the negative and positive. So we're going to talk about what do they both agree on. And there's one thing they both agree on, and it pisses me off. And we're going to get into that later on. What do they both agree on? The world space. They both agree the world space is brilliant. They love the world space. Don't go into it thinking it's open world, though. Go into it thinking it's open areas, like God of War and things like that. You go into an area, there's a lot to explore and stuff like that, but it is just an area. It's not like Skyrim or something like that. You're not going to be running around the world. Or it's not going to be like Inquisition either, with its big open world, which I'm actually happy about. Because once you got to the desert in Inquisition, it could be 5, 10, 15 minutes before anything happened. And I was just bored. Just completely bored of that area when I got there. Because there was so much to do, but it was so stretched out. It felt pointless. So it's good to see that they both agree that is not in it. So it's good. That's good. The world looks good. The scenery looks good. What they showed in the trailers is very similar to what there is in the game, so that's another positive. They both make reference to the fact that it's not like Origins. I don't give a shit about that. I didn't play Origins. I don't care about Origins. The people who wrote the story for Origins don't exist anymore. They're not in the company. Well, I mean, they might exist, but they don't exist in the companies. They don't exist at EA. They don't exist at Bioware. They're not there. You're not going to get the same writing expertise as you did for Mass Effect in this game because those people, they're just not there, right? So it's an unrealistic expectation to expect that level of writing because that's old school style of writing that just largely in the gaming community as a whole just doesn't exist anymore. You've seen it in many, many, many games. What else do they agree on? Like I say, there's not much they agree on. The character creator. They both agree that the character creator is one of the strengths of the game. It's really thought out. They really like it. And honestly, from what I've seen, it does look good. I will probably attempt to make an actual character. I normally just go generic. Like, I just press the random thing of like, yep, that'll do, on I go. So yeah, I might actually give it a go. Might actually have a look around on it. I'm not sure if I'll show it in my videos for it, because character creation to me is a little bit of a boring thing. I know a lot of you are interested in that, but me personally, I don't care about that. The characters, I think, look good in the cutscenes, but I did notice, even in the positive reviews, there was this one scene, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. There's this one scene where Varric's face literally looks like a clay potato. I will say that, and that did trigger me a little bit. I was like, but it was that one time that I saw it. The rest of the time you saw his face, it looked fine. So it might have just been that one scene. But like I say, this game, as long as you keep your expectations in check, it's going to be a 7 out of 10 game. That's what I'm expecting. It's going to be good, but it's going to have this little thing and that little thing that bugs the crap out of you. That's what I'm expecting. I expect that from most games now that I'm looking forward to, especially if I've pre-ordered them like I have with Veilguard. Now, the part they both agree on that pisses me off. Oh boy, here we go. Repetitive gameplay. Specifically, enemies. These are the same people that played a 50-hour game and say, after 100 hours, the combat was super repetitive. Really? Yes, it's repetitive. Holy shit. I have over 300 hours in Helldivers. I have over 100 hours in Space Marines. I have 2,000 hours in Skyrim. So on and so forth. What were you expecting? It's a 50-hour game and you've played double that. You're going to get double the encounters of the same fucking enemies. What are you even talking about? How is that a negative? They both agree that's a negative of the game. Like, what are you talking about? How many enemies do you think's in the fucking game? How many versions of an enemy do you think they can put in a game? If they put in enough enemies to do you 100 hours on a 50-hour game, they would have to double their effort that they put into the game, just so someone who's reviewing it in the future can't go, did you know when you play the game 500 times longer than it should be, it's repetitive? Yes, of course it's fucking repetitive. Skyrim's fucking repetitive, but you still play that. The Space Marines is repetitive, you still play that. Helldivers, I fucking play that. It's repetitive as shit. What are you fucking talking about? Fucking repetitive gameplay. Specific, and they're always talking about the combat with that, and it's like, what are you talking about? Also, when you see them show the combat and it's paused, that's the tactical view. You don't need to use it. It's there if you want to use it. It's an option, just like it was in Inquisition, but you don't have to use it. And the only reason it pauses it is to give you time to command your companions to do whatever they want to do. Other than that, you're just free to go wild. You do not need to pause the game in that. But a lot of them are making it look like every single time you click an attack, it pauses the game. It doesn't. It does not do that at all. They both agree on one last thing. And that is late game, when you, your companions, and the enemies are using their most powerful attacks, and there's a lot of like animations going on the screen, there is a small dip in performance, which makes sense. There's a lot going on in the screen, so it does take a little bit of a dip, but it's not that noticeable. Now, those being negative are like, oh, it ruined my whole game, and those being positive are like, it was a little inconvenient, but other than that, after the animation stopped, they were free to go. So hopefully this clears up a little bit, at least of my opinion on the situation. And like, subscribe, all that good stuff over on my YouTube. Follow here on TikTok. And yeah, I will see you next time.